The following is a best-of-5 set in the winner's semi-final round. Introducing the combatants. First, from Hillside, New Jersey, representing the girlies back home, this is Bbatts. And his opponent from Madrid, Spain, representing SSP and 69%, this is Trif.
I think I need Stu, the announcer, to just commentate parts of my life for me. But yeah, shout out to all the dads out there. What's going on? We got what I think, in my opinion, is one of the most exciting matches for me today because there are usually only one Peach player per tournament. We have like 3 in top 16, which is remarkable. Bbatts versus Trif coming up today is going to be an interesting one, right? It's kind of a rare time we get to see a Peach Ditto. I know that Polish and Lod, I believe, played about a month ago at Riptide. Collision was the last time that Bbatts and Trif in particular played against each other, which was, towards the beginning of this year, so over 6 months ago, and that was a 3-0 for Trif.
Yeah, and you bring up Polish and Lod being the kind of 2 other Peaches and sort of the big 3 of Peach right now, and kind of Bbatts is knocking on the door. We can see the Collision stats up here now. Lifetime record Trif having 1 set. I actually did not realize these guys have played, just given the fact that Trif is from Spain, coming in from Europe.
Right.
But this should be very interesting. I do think Bbatts in particular, one of my favorite Peach players to watch, specifically because we tend to see a divide in characters like Falcon, for example, where you sort of get the businessman Falcon, like the Wizrobe, the very by the book, and then the kind of party Falcon, where you're just aggressive like none. But you don't see that as much with Peach, and yet Bbatts is the hold-forward guy. Bbatts is how can I hit them at all times? Not playing so much for these kind of really perfected punishes, that you'd see with someone like Armada back in the day. More like playing it almost like a spacey. It's weird, but it's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Slime or someone else who had said something akin to the Falcon Ditto, right? Where Falcon Dittos are cool when there's one cool Falcon and one lame Falcon, right? In this case, Billy Bbatts has definitively declared himself as the cool Peach in this Ditto. I talked to him a little bit before the top 8 started here, and he literally said that to me. He said, I'm going to be the quirky one, and Trif will be the other Peach, and that's going to be that.
Yeah, I mean, we're really going to see kind of how they sort of weave around each other's options. I don't know. I think in general, Bbatts just a really, really interesting player, someone who I'd like to see kind of rise up. Someone who, just a nice guy. If you get to know him, a lot of fun. But Trif, also someone I played this weekend. Got to kind of go through literally a gauntlet of his secondaries until finally playing his Peach. And all of them were pretty damn nasty. A Trif, a player kind of who really seems to have a grasp on kind of matchups that are like the lower tier characters.
Sure.
If Peach kind of beats the character, on paper, Trif almost certainly is going to win. But in this case, we have kind of something unusual, a Ditto. Peach Ditto is not something we really see very often at all. So I honestly don't know how this is going to go. Obviously, Trif seeded higher, ranked 13th in the world this year, but anything can happen.
And it starts off pulling the artillery from both sides. We are in for a potential long one, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the Princess Ditto coming through. But yeah, I think the big thing that I think of when I consider Peach Dittos of very, very long ago, which again are few and far between, it is a trade fest, right? Like you just go back and forth, who puts up block, who gets the counter hit. The big thing that Bbatts is telling me about what he will bring to the table if he is feeling it in this matchup is he is going to actually attack the ledge a lot and look for edge guards in situations where I think a lot of Peaches wouldn't in the Ditto. And was that a dot eyes that just went through?
It was a dot eye. Yeah, it's funny watching them both sync up the turnips. This is definitely an unusual matchup. Obviously, there's, it's not so uncommon, but I think Peach in general is kind of like a unique high tier in the game right now. In an age where we're seeing so much kind of reaction tech chasing and playing in a way that's very like optimal and efficient, Peach more succeeds with these very blocky, big hitboxes.
Sure.
She is not fast enough to kind of cover certain areas. She doesn't have a fast dash. She doesn't have that fast vertical mobility, and yet she just hits really hard, and she's actually very, very technical. So there's a lot of things that new players have been leveraging, and so far, Bbatts kind of showing up, putting in work.
Yeah, running away with this first stock. We'll see if he can continue on with this lead. Yeah, and the back and forth block into down smash is just kind of a who wants to flinch first and do something different. Trif does find that counter hit to get the kill right there, but it's medium percent.
You see Bbatts, the little self-talk there, kind of getting into the zone. So far, kind of both of them pretty even. Again, in any floaty matchup, we're always going to really look at how they kind of play out of the corner. Position matters so much, and just like that, don't want to kind of like take the bait too much and give up too much stage, but this is so even.
All right, Bbatts attacking the platform right there to maintain this percent lead for just a little bit, but now off stage. Let's see.
Another characteristic thing of Peach. Oh, that is a big down smash. One of the things Peach really struggles with is getting off of the ledge. If you can put Peach in that position, she really, really struggles.
Yep.
It is her own personal hell. It is not a good spot to be.
Your hubris costs you right there. Bbatts returning to ledge once again. Catches the turnip actually at the top of the screen. All right, here comes Trif on the reset now. Both of them just floating ever so casually, passerby traffic.
Yeah, it really is a shift in Melee and kind of how you're used to it, just because some of the options that they have available to them are so unique. Ooh, doesn't get the punish there, despite shielding the get-up attack, or the dash attack, rather.
I would like to talk about the insane RNG, not for Rise and Grind, that has been happening for all of the Peach players. Maybe it's just because there's more than one Peach player in this bracket, but they've been finding a lot of special turnips and pulls throughout this entire tournament.
It's actually so funny seeing the two down smashes side by side. Brothers in arms right now. Oh, throwing the little symmetry. Oh, man, we are watching a dance at 54-51. They could not be more evenly matched.
I want to play catch outside, Dad. Come on, Pop.
We really are seeing why Bbatts able to beat Kadoran, kind of hanging with the top players despite, on the SSBM rank being kind of quite far away, in that kind of 40 range. Mm-hmm. So really, really good stuff from Bbatts. Trif kind of camping the air right now and slowly kind of eating up damage.
Camping the air is insane. That's so sick. They can't hit each other. They physically can't right now.
It does feel that way. One of the things I also want to point out, like I said, I was playing Trif earlier, is I had Trif in the corner for, I'm not exaggerating, like a minute when we were playing in friendlies.
Right.
And he just somehow didn't take the bait on almost anything. So patient. And I think if there's ever going to be a matchup where patience pays off, it's this one. The openings you get, they're going to be small. You're going to be chipping away at each other. But when you need to get them, you have to capitalize.
Yeah, we talked about this on the top 16 block with Mikey also. But Trif and a lot of Peach players in general just really, really good at holding their space, knowing that they can kind of just play those corners and force their opponents to walk into them. This matchup in particular, you can't really rely on that too much just because there's so much airspace that these two can control against each other. But I don't know, man. Trif is hanging onto this lead for how long. It might be just one aerial away, but Bbatts can't seem to find the hit yet.
Yeah, I actually really like how they've both been playing this. This is kind of an interesting matchup because we're so used to floating games being longer, and if you look at what we're seeing right now, another long set, timeout could potentially become a factor. Yet despite that, they both have actually been pretty interactive. They're just not trying to get into a zone where you kind of have no options. They're playing right around the edge of each other, just kind of chipping away, and Bbatts needs this kill now, or Trif is going to run away with it.
All right, let's see. Just looking for traded hit right here. Yeah, again, inching his way in. Can't find it, though, and Trif falls down with the fair. That actually is just a huge neutral win right there while Trif can play this slow.
I talked about this before, about Trif's patience. That is the patience that is paying off right now. That is how you hold this lead, and this is how Peaches have been kind of defining the character for years. This is how Armada became the world's best player, is just, you cannot take my stock. And while you're doing that, I'm slowly building up damage. The lead is farther and farther away. And again, you got to be patient. You can't force it. Bbatts, get in the forward throw. Still not going to do it.
Not going to do
something
it.
right now. But again, you don't want to force a position you don't want to play in.
I love the upward throws from Bbatts right there. That game will be wrapped up on the side of Trif, but there were some good ideas from the Tri-State Peach to try to get that one back. Spain is going to come out on top, though, in this first one.
Yeah, and, it's interesting, too, because, you mentioned Trif being from Spain, Europe, obviously a different region. I wonder the kind of Peach practice that Trif would have, being by far the best Peach in Europe. Of course, with Slippy there is more practice available, but this doesn't seem like the matchup where Trif would have the edge in terms of practice compared to Bbatts, who could play Lod, who could play Polish. So that might be an asset on Bbatts' side, but I actually like this a lot. Yoshi's kind of a very adaptive play given how that game went. You're not going to have as long stocks. You're not going to be able to kind of camp out as much, and down smash, putting in work. That is going to be a kill.
That's the fastest Peach Ditto kill I've ever seen, actually, in all time. That's an all-timer. Yeah, I think just seeing Bbatts go so quickly to Yoshi's story is great because he's expressed to me very clearly he is the aggressor in this matchup, and he wants to make sure he's holding W the entire time.
He really is. And, one of the fun things about Peach is that float height is kind of a huge part of how you approach each other. And, the angle that you're going to approach is going to control things like fair, nair.
This is another ice.
Yeah, I mean,
how many?
Part of the problem is, in these floatier matchups, you're going to get more chances to pull turnips, but I feel like they've been playing in these ranges where they actually haven't done that so much. So, again, RNG coming up at RNG a little bit, affecting the match.
All right, we'll see Trif finding his way back into this game. Just a small percent differential. It's actually a huge stock lead now. What a swing for Trif.
Yeah, now, of course, Bbatts needing to stay composed, not let it get to him. We've seen him convert into a stock pretty effectively on this stage already. So, unfortunate SD, but shouldn't have him get down quite yet.
All right, a couple options there from Bbatts, just expecting the land in from Trif. But again, this patience that you had mentioned before, Radar, he's just not biting for any of it. Stock will go down right there. Bbatts with a bit of a sigh of relief. See if he can hang on to a lead or maybe start creating one for himself.
Another thing I always want to point out when Peach is on screen. Oh my God, the counter down smash. Bbatts visibly shocked.
That's such a big commit.
Oh my God.
Insane
10%
kill.
wall.
Insane kill. Yeah, overcommit there.
Bbatts like, I will take that. I will take that to the bank. I do not care. And suddenly, Bbatts is so in this, but we're back to even.
You did mention the turnip pulls not being as available as an option right now just because of the size of the stage. That was so tricky by Bbatts.
What I said about the ledge.
Insane.
Not an easy place to be. How do you get out of this corner? Ooh.
Looks like you just fight your way through.
Yeah,
a lot of them want to.
Down. It is funny because as a character, you wouldn't think, like, who has some of the most beefy, fast-moving hitboxes in the game? The princess,
Bbatts playing the corner tremendously right now. Doesn't elect to throw that turnip up, though. Z-drop instead. We're back to neutral once more, but it is a high percent lead. Anything could do it for Bbatts now. Traded hit is what he wants.
Yeah, especially off to the side. If you get something like a nair on either side of the stage, that might be all you need at 105. But I'm talking about being on the side. This is kind of the positioning mattering once again. Ooh.
Wow, okay, Dare from Trif actually gets him out of trouble right there, too. That was really, really good. And just like the earlier stocks in this game, Radar, we've been seeing Trif just slowly but surely get his way back into finding another win. That's a kill! That's a kill! Oh my gosh, what a steal away from Trif.
Yeah, Trif taking a deep breath. This has been so tight. Bbatts absolutely had an opportunity there. Now remember, this is winners, so even if Bbatts gets knocked down, he is not out of the tournament. But Trif with a clean lead so far. Yeah, just really rough. Another thing I do want to point out whenever you watch a Peach matchup is whenever they're kind of in these little positions, you always got to consider their resources. Normally, resources for a player is just their double jump,
right.
But float is a huge part of that. If they get knocked out of float, suddenly the position plays out very, very differently. So no matter what you're playing against Peach, you want to be looking like, does she ever float? Does she ever double jump? If not, that's when you can start to put more pressure on.
Yeah, I think on top of that, too, a big thing that plays a huge role in floaty matchups, specifically on bigger stages, too, is the use of turnip throw lengths, right? We see Lod kind of put that to huge effect when he had wins over Hungrybox and a lot of those online tournaments as well. You can vary your turnip throw lengths based on if you smash throw or regular throw them. You also can throw it for further if you smash throw and Peach is facing the other way. So there's really weird kind of silent mix-ups that you can find within the item tosses. It also comes off a double jump as well, varying the lengths if you go up. And a great way to just divide the stage into two parts where you have to force that floaty to commit to one side of the stage that you can cover.
Honestly, like we're lucky to have Peach in the game in so many ways. Like Peach is a character that has so much tech specific to her with the float cancels. You know, mentioning the differences in item throws. Her shield pressure is so unique. Obviously, if you're a little salty, you kind of boil it down to I hate down smash, but there's clearly so much more. And speaking of resources, Trif doesn't have much left. Bbatts is able to call this out, but he does get grounded, and all of them are suddenly back.
Yeah, that sequence in particular, we'll see if Bbatts can close it out right here, but that is exactly what I expect from Bbatts when he says, I am going to be the aggressor, I am going to be the Peach that actually edge guards in the Ditto here.
Yeah, and you know, even in a matchup where they have such strong recoveries, edge guarding is still so important.
Here we go, it's a fine back towards center right here. Pretty much deadlocked for the most part. But again, I think in the nickel and diming, we have seen Trif come out on top a lot more often in between these two.
Yeah, just like looking a little more comfortable. And, you know, that is to be expected. Trif, the favorite to win this event just based on seeding alone. But, again, I still like a lot of the way that Bbatts is playing. You know, it's such a cliche. If this were to go 3-0, you know, close 3-0 sounds silly,
sure.
But that previous game is so close. One of the things I'm kind of curious about is choosing to go to Battlefield instead of Yoshi's. I didn't feel like Yoshi's was too bad, but...
Oh my god, come on now. What
my
is
God.
this? Give one to Bbatts, man. What? Come on.
Yeah, of the kind of special items that Peach can grab, Bomb probably the least favorite of Peach players. Oftentimes you'll see kind of in a more modern Peach, they sort of just throw it away.
Sure.
It just kind of makes things tricky. You know, you get hit by it, you get knocked so far, you might even die, might even kill you. So usually it's a volatile projectile, but yeah. Okay.
And just like we saw in these first two games, Trif slowly but surely running away with this game, right? Every time that Bbatts wants to land, he's getting met with an aerial straight to the face. It's going to be a full stock to take that one down. And what a deficit Bbatts has to climb this one back.
Yeah, no, this is where you really see the difference in a floaty matchup versus against a fast faller. Getting kind of 3 quick stocks, not easy. This is a mountain to climb on Bbatts' end. It's just so difficult. You're gonna have to win neutral constantly. But if anyone can do it, Bbatts can.
Oh,
wow!
Well,
I was like, is that gonna
kind
kill?
of insane for that.
Nice.
Could start with this. Bbatts does need to find a stock. He needs to find it quick before that percent starts racking up. There it is.
Find it quick, he does. Now suddenly it's looking a bit more doable. Just need kind of a dominant set of interactions. You know, maybe a down smash into a nair or something. I mean, I just say that.
Yep.
46% right there.
Spent float, but doesn't really matter right now. It's a combat damage on the right platform. Trif, again, just so good at catching the landings a little more frequently than Bbatts can. Now pressured out of the corner. Oh, what a switch around, but Bbatts dipping a little bit too low. It's going to be a 3-0 for Trif to stay in the winner's side.
Yeah, great stuff from Trif there. As much as that was a bit of a flub on Bbatts' end, part of that flub was Trif exerting so much pressure in the corner, forcing Bbatts to kind of commit to certain options. So really good stuff from both players. Honestly,
That's right.
Again, like I said, Bbatts is such an aggressive player, always fun to watch.
Yeah, we talked about Kadoran being potentially a favorite to win this entire tournament with the absence of Jmook from this bracket. But a lot of people are sleeping on Trif, man. Trif's sitting pretty in winners finals right now. Of course, not the end of Bbatts' run either. He will have the bracket of alternative to success to find some new options here, and not a Peach Ditto, fortunately for him as well.
Yes, absolutely. There's still a long way to go for Bbatts, but I believe we have one more.
We
winner
do
set?
have one
Yeah.
more. I think we got some questions from Rod, though, so what you got over there?
I always have questions. All right, I got to know. Trif, how you feeling after that game?
Good. I'm super concentrated in the next one, but I feel good for this one too. Yeah.
Super concentrated. Now, I got to know, you know, a lot of players at your level, obviously top professional talent, sometimes they still feel a little weird about the Ditto. How confident were you going into this match?
I'm super confident. I think it's one of my best matchups. Yeah, I think I'm really good at it.
Hey, I think I'm going to have to go ahead and agree with that. No, hey, I got to know, obviously, you being from across the pond, what's the training like over there? Because obviously not a lot of American players go over there. From what I was gathering from commentary, there are pizzas that exist, not a lot at your level. How did you really get that practice coming into this?
For Peach Ditto, I mean for every matchup, but for Peach Ditto specifically, you need to like study not only the opponents, I mean not like study situations and stuff, And for sure, like play a lot. My PTO partner is Sharp, which is like amazing. It's like pretty good too. But I study a lot too. Like if you live in a desolate region like Spain, you need to like study the fucking whole day.
Hey, I love to hear that. Hey, really quick, give me your thoughts on the rest of the tournament. Obviously, you're still in it, sitting on your side of bracket. Give me your thoughts on going into the next match.
What's the next match? On mine?
Yeah, yours.
Oh yeah, I know. I have to play Salt or Mech, I think. I'm fine with them. I want to play both, so I'm really happy. I got like good practice before. Like I practice a lot for every matchup here for Ganondorf. She expecting Jmook, Marth, and Falcon, so I feel ready.
I love to hear it. Poised, confident, of course, ready to play. My friend, I bid you a farewell. Good job, of course. Commentators, back to you.